Hello, my name is Cameron Searles. I'm the chair of the Stewardship Committee here at Maple Grove United Church. Let me begin by saying we have an abbreviated stewardship campaign this year with all that's going on. It will be this week only, which is why I'm speaking as part of the annual general meeting. But tonight I would like to talk a little bit about stewardship at our church. We live in interesting times. We've all had a challenging time as we've lived through the pandemic over the past 20 months or so, and so has the church. As Gord Penley, our finance chair, said, without the government subsidies that the church has received during the pandemic, our numbers would look terrible. It is time for all of us to think about how we, as the members of this church, are solely responsible for its finances and future successes. Do we want a successful church? Do we? Do we care enough about it to act? Givings by our congregation form the majority of our revenues needed to fund the operations of our church, pay salaries, maintain the physical presence of our church, perform ministry in the community, and all the other activities that we undertake. Over the past few years, our offerings to the church have steadily declined, especially during COVID. For our fiscal years ending June 2020, June 2021, and the 4 months ending October 31st, 2021, our offerings have declined almost 10% from pre-pandemic levels. Maple Grove can simply not sustain such declines in offerings now that the government support is no longer available to us. The numbers are terrible indeed, but at the same time, we see the promise of positive change happening around us. For example, it seems that the restrictions on gatherings are slowly loosening as the COVID numbers improved. In particular, we have just been able to return to in-person worship over the past couple of weeks, a major milestone for our church as we return to more normal worship and fellowship. In addition, we have been blessed with a new minister, Reverend Jessica McCrae, who has just started and comes to us with new energy, enthusiasm, and ideas on how to guide our church in the years ahead. We are blessed indeed. We're at an important crossroad in our individual commitments to the church and in making sure we do a good job of restoring our staffing, our technology, our worship, and our commitment to God and the church. Despite the numbers that Gord presented, I cannot help to feel optimistic about the future finances of this church, especially when I look back and see a long history of how this congregation has stepped up to pay for major financial challenges, whether it was the renovation of the kitchen, installation of stained glass windows, major landscaping projects, roof repairs, sponsoring refugees, setting up scholarships for First Nations, or just paying down the debts of the church. We have stepped up many times in the past, and I know we can do it again. If your givings decreased during COVID, please consider returning to your pre-pandemic level, plus a bit more for inflation. While we appreciate all the givings that each member makes each year, we need to ask each one of you to prayerfully consider if you want to be part of this Christian church at Maple Grove. Because if you do, we as a congregation need our givings to significantly increase next year to cover our rising costs. Please consider using PAR for this year if you're not already doing so. It is a simple and convenient way to have your planned offering flow to the church evenly over 12 months without any further effort on your part. No envelopes or checks required. You can elect to make your pledge just by noting it down on a piece of paper and putting it in the offering plate, or emailing the church office or Paula Warden with your PAR commitment information. There also may be some of you who might consider the tax advantages of transferring an investment or part thereof to Maple Grove. This is easily done and will typically provide a significant tax credit to you. Please contact Gord Penley if you'd like more information. In closing, I would like to take one final opportunity to ask all of you to please consider the needs of the church for next year by increasing your givings. Your church, my church, all of our church needs your support. Thank you.